a good method of strengthening the legs, and particularly the muscles around the joints of the body with its weight shifting, its slow weight shifting, etc. But if you want to overemphasize, if you like, the strengthening of the legs in a Qigong form, which I sometimes do, then we can use various techniques and just alter the movements a little bit. So the two main movements that we use, or stances as they're called, are the horse stance. So this would be with feet fairly wide apart, and then as if you are sitting on a bar stool or a short fat pony. Now, some people do this with the feet facing forward, and you will see if you look at Tai Chi masters, Shaolin monks, etc., that mostly they're able to go really low with their feet facing forwards. But as a Westerner, I'm not able to do that, and so I have to turn my feet out a little bit. When I do that, I need to be careful that when I go down, the knees go over the feet in the same direction, so not collapsing inwards or going further outwards, yeah? And also that the knees don't go further than the toes. So if you can see on this side, probably easier, that would be going further than the toes. They just stay there, and that's really important because otherwise you're not strengthening those muscles, you're actually putting strain on them. And if you can only go down a little bit, that's fine. If you can only go down really subtly, that's also fine. So find your comfort zone. And when you're doing the movements, make sure of those two rules. Yeah, that the knees don't go beyond the feet and that they're going in the same direction as the toes. Yeah, so find that first. And spend quite a while experimenting with that and shifting weight and seeing how that is. And that in itself is a way of strengthening the legs. So simply shifting mindfully from foot to foot in that position with the tail tucked under is a good leg strengthening movement. Coming back to the center again, and we can use that movement as we want. So, well, that stance. So, for example, in Shibashi 1, which some of you may know, the opening movement is to collect yin from the earth and then come back down to earth and get some more. So we follow the in-breath up and we follow the out-breath down. And what we can do to emphasize the downward is to actually send the tailbone down to earth, hence the legs get worked out, as it were, energetically and also from a muscular point of view. And then the top of the head moves to the heaven as we come up. So once again, breathing out, following the in-breath. And the second movement is similar, and you can carry on doing this throughout the whole form. This is the second movement of Shibashi, following the in-breath, following the out-breath. Let's take a couple more examples, so maybe give your legs a little bit of a shake. And also it's good to stop, yeah, and think, am I okay? Are my knees hurting? Is that enough for my legs, etc.? And a soothing thing for the knees just to hold them and rotate them. And it may be, if you haven't warmed up, that could be something that you do before adding the horse stance to any particular form. So let's just experiment with a couple of other movements. So if I show you the 10th movement of the 18 form Shibashi 1, you would shift over and then the big toe supports you on that side, and then the hand comes up diagonally to eye height, and then it goes back down through the center, and then you shift and you go up. Following the in-breath up and following the out-breath down. Now, if we want to strengthen the legs, we come into a wider stance, into horse stance, And we're doing the same thing. Big toes is supporting you there. So now you should feel that this is even more challenging on the legs. And if you look at the massage table behind me, you should see, I'm checking myself here, that my hips are just moving along one horizontal line. So it's not that I'm doing this and that, which is another way of doing it, but I'm really working the legs by staying down, by finding my downward movement and staying there as I work the upper body. And this is not just strengthening the legs, it's really good for maintaining groundedness while we're attracting yang energy, calling yang energy. We remain yin, rooted in the ground, while we attract the yang with our hand. Great, so that's that. Now you can also, this is another good strengthening exercise for the legs. So let's have a go. This foot is facing forward, and this one turns inwards with the heel up, like so. And if you just send that knee in the same direction as the toes, you can feel that you're kind of pumping. You've got a pumping action going on, which is really strengthening. Now, this in Qigong prescriptions, this is used as a way of taking watery energy up through the body. So I would use this in my personal prescription for an eye strengthening exercise. So what I would be doing would be to move, I'm gazing into the palm and I'm moving this backwards and forwards with the breath. And then at the same time, my legs it's as if they're pumping cooling energy up to the eyes. So this is a Qigong prescription for the eyes, in other words. But if you do it along with me, I'm just going to change legs here. Once again, this foot is forward, this one is turned and the heel is up. You'll feel that if you've got it all right, it's really good for strengthening the legs. Suffice to say, this is a coaching video, and we would do all of these things mindfully once we've integrated them, embedded them in the form. Also, I want to say a word about Shibashi 2, if any of you know this, which is a real good leg strengthening form. For example, if we take searching for needle at Seabed, you're basically doing a single leg squat. So let me demonstrate Seabed, as it's called. So the toe comes forward, it's empty, insubstantial, that front leg, but you're balancing on your toe. So your toe is just balancing, all your weight is down through this leg. Let's not worry about hand gestures, etc. You go down by sending this knee out over the foot. So you're basically in a single leg squat. So it's fairly hard, but amazing how quickly the body comes into condition and understands what's being asked of it. So that's quite hard on this leg. And let's just change over. So once again, you step forward, needle at seabed. So you're imagining you're going down into the seabed. Single leg squat on this side, going right down. If you can't go right down, you just go as far as you can. And then once again, this is an eye nourishing prescription. So you imagine you pulling cool energy up. So that's something. And then the whole 3 sequence of Shibashi 2. So you can go on to my video Shibashi 2 and see the whole thing. But I'm just illustrating that if you want more leg strengthening exercises, then we've got fairy points the way. So once again, look at the table behind me. And the movement is like this, and then you step, but see how I'm keeping my hips along one line. So it's just an illustration really, rather than a whole coaching video. But by choosing your downward position and moving along it, you will feel how, let me just do the hand movement, the lower body movements actually, because that's what we're after. So you will feel how that really puts the emphasis on strengthening the legs. We've also got the beautiful white crane salutes from Shibashi 2, where you go right down, and you might be able to stay right down. That's another one to try. And then young boy kicks his legs or stretches his legs. So that one is knee comes up, heel goes out, heel comes back, and that foot goes down. And once again, notice what's happening in the background. Whoops, that I'm moving along the I have to stop talking to that. I'm moving along the same line as the massage table. Okay. So the whole form Shibashi 2 is on my YouTube video. Finally, there's the bow stance, which is 1 foot forward. So let's go back to Shibashi 1 and do sea and sky. So here we're employing the bow stance, which is basically like this: 1 foot forward, weight down through the forward leg, and then weight down through the back leg. This is the movement, sea and sky. Shifting the weight between the two. Now, once again, when you're on the back leg, come down, send the tailbone closer to earth, and as you come forward onto the front leg, stay down, and you will feel that that engages all these muscles along with the energetic pathways in the backward foot. Once again, shifting, stay down, and so on. And when you're pushing waves, you do the same thing. Great. Another form, if you want to look at it, that's particularly leg strengthening is Spiral Qigong, and again, that's on my video channel.